Have you ever heard of a leader protected by an elite force of female bodyguards? Not just any leader, Muammar Gaddafi.
Gaddafi apparently has several security guards that are beautiful virgins.
And he's got these killer lady robots or what,
Who ruled Libya for over 40 years. Gaddafi's bodyguards weren't ordinary women. They were highly trained, fiercely loyal, and tasked with one mission: to protect him at all costs. Known as the Amazonian Guard or Revolutionary Nuns, these women shattered norms in a region where women traditionally had limited rights. These women weren't chosen randomly. They were handpicked for their loyalty, strength, and willingness to give their lives for Gaddafi. Highly trained in weapons, combat, and strategy, they broke barriers, symbolizing both women's empowerment and Gaddafi's unique, often contradictory, vision for Libya. But behind the makeup, uniforms, and headlines lies a darker story, one of sacrifice, secrecy, and controversy. Who were these women? Why did Gaddafi choose them? What was life really like as a member of his personal guard? And what happened to them when Gaddafi's regime fell? This is the story of Gaddafi's female bodyguards, a tale of power, loyalty, and the hidden complexities of their lives. Welcome to the world of research. Welcome to the large family of Wisdom in Narrations. Muammar Gaddafi ruled Libya from 1969 until his assassination in 2011. From the beginning, his approach to leadership and personal security was unconventional, reflecting his unique political ideology. Early in his rule, Gaddafi relied on bodyguards from Eastern Europe, particularly East Germany, Bulgaria, and Poland. Many of these guards were trained by the Stasi, the East German secret police, and played a critical role in ensuring his safety during the early years of his leadership. In 1975, Muammar Gaddafi wrote The Green Book, a short work outlining his political thoughts. Gaddafi's writings became a central part of Libyan education, with teachers incorporating his ideas into school lessons and his quotes prominently displayed across the country. One chapter in the Green Book focused on Gaddafi's views on women, where he stated that men and women are equal but have natural differences. He believed women had the right to work, but only in roles that suited their abilities and didn't affect their appearance. Gaddafi once declared, "There must be a world revolution which puts an end to all materialistic conditions hindering women from performing their natural role in life and driving them to carry out man's duties in order to be equal in rights." Despite this ideology, he actively supported training women for military roles. He saw this as both a means of protection and a step toward empowering women. Under his rule, women gained greater access to education and job opportunities, including roles in medicine, engineering, and law enforcement. Before Gaddafi came to power in 1969, only 15% of girls attended primary school under King Idris's reign. After making education compulsory until age 9, female literacy and school attendance improved significantly. By 1990, 48% of girls were in primary school, and by 1996, 43% were attending secondary school. By the time Gaddafi was ousted in 2011, over half of Libya's university students were women, marking a significant shift in gender equality during his leadership. Let's go deeper into the rise of the female bodyguards. In the 1980s, Muammar Gaddafi made a bold and revolutionary decision. He created an all-female security force. The Western media named them the Revolutionary Nuns, but in Africa, they were known as the Amazonian Guard, or Haris al-Has. This decision was both strategic and symbolic. Gaddafi believed Arab men would hesitate to harm women, making female bodyguards an effective layer of protection. He also saw women as less likely to rebel against him. However, insider accounts suggest a more personal motivation. Gaddafi reportedly enjoyed the company of young women, which is why only virgins were selected for the role. The foundation for this group was laid in 1979 when Gaddafi established a military school for women in Libya. At the time, This was groundbreaking in a country where women were traditionally confined to domestic roles and excluded from the military. The school provided training in weapons, combat, and security. Women selected for this elite group underwent intense physical and mental training. They learned how to shoot firearms, engage in combat, and detect threats. They also studied Gaddafi's political philosophy and ideology, particularly his Green Book. Absolute loyalty to Gaddafi was a non-negotiable requirement, and only the best candidates made it through the rigorous training process. The best graduates were hand-picked to join Gaddafi's personal guard, earning the title of Amazonian Guard or Revolutionary Nuns. These women were tasked not only with protecting Gaddafi, but also with performing some household duties, maintaining his residence, and entertaining him. Their role extended far beyond conventional security work. Gaddafi personally selected each member, imposing strict criteria. The women were typically around 20 years old, single, beautiful, and required to be virgins before beginning formal training. They took an oath to remain virgins and swore to protect Gaddafi with their lives. Life as one of Gaddafi's bodyguards was demanding and unique. Their days began early with physical training to maintain peak fitness. They meticulously checked their weapons and prepared for any scenario. When accompanying Gaddafi on outings, they formed a protective circle around him, constantly scanning for danger. Their appearance was as striking as their role. They wore tailored uniforms, high heels, and makeup, an unusual combination for bodyguards. They were trained to act swiftly in emergencies, even prepared to sacrifice their own lives to protect Gaddafi. The Amazonian Guard symbolized both Gaddafi's vision for women's empowerment and his reliance on their unwavering loyalty. Gaddafi claimed their presence proved that Libyan women could do anything men could. In many neighboring countries, women were excluded from roles like soldiers or bodyguards. By promoting women in such prominent positions, Gaddafi challenged traditional norms and showcased a groundbreaking change in a region where women traditionally lacked power or visibility. Approximately 400 women served in the Amazonian Guard during Gaddafi's rule, rotating as his personal security team. Whenever he traveled, at least 15 of these guards accompanied him, ensuring his safety and projecting an image of power and mystique. Their loyalty was unmatched, their training relentless, and their role multifaceted, from combat-ready protectors to symbols of Gaddafi's complex and often contradictory approach to leadership. The Amazonian Guard became a global symbol of Gaddafi's regime. They represented both his authoritarian rule and his progressive stance on women's roles in society. Their existence drew worldwide attention and forever cemented their place in history as a unique and controversial legacy of Gaddafi's leadership. What was the cost of being selected as Gaddafi's female bodyguard in the women's military? Let's find out. The journey to becoming one of these elite guards began at the Women's Police Academy in Tripoli, Libya's capital. Young women from across the country applied, but only the best were chosen. The training was rigorous, starting daily at 4:30 a.m. with 90 minutes of physical exercise, followed by intensive courses on assault and defense strategies. Their 3-year program covered every aspect of military skills, including hand-to-hand combat, using firearms, launching rocket-guided grenades, and even piloting aircraft. Classes also included Gaddafi's political ideology and Libya's history. The academy's training provided these women with practical skills, even if they didn't become Gaddafi's personal guards. Many found opportunities in the military or police. Those who advanced to the Revolutionary Guard wore distinctive uniforms that included army gear, black heels, a red belt, and a red beret. Unlike typical military regulations, they were allowed to wear red lipstick, jewelry, and painted nails to set them apart from other forces. The Revolutionary Nuns, Gaddafi's all-female bodyguard unit, had moments of both heroism and controversy during his rule. Their international debut came in 1981, during Gaddafi's visit to Syria to meet President Hafez al-Assad. Over the years, they became a prominent part of his security detail, traveling with him on global visits and standing by his side during critical events. One of the most notable members of the Revolutionary Nuns was Fatima, a young woman who graduated with top honors from the military academy. She became one of Gaddafi's most trusted protectors, traveling with him around the world and playing a vital role in his security. Fatima was not just a bodyguard. She also spoke publicly about women's rights in Libya, telling reporters that women were free to pursue any career they desired. Her story highlighted how being part of Gaddafi's guard opened new opportunities for women, breaking traditional barriers in a conservative society. Now we come to the point of exploring the risks of being Gaddafi's female bodyguards and the famous international incidents involving them. The risks associated with being a female bodyguard for Gaddafi were extremely high. These women were constantly prepared to sacrifice their lives for his safety. In 1998, during an attack on Gaddafi's convoy in Derna, Libya, one of his guards gave her life to protect him. Aisha, the main security officer of the Revolutionary Nuns, played a crucial role during the incident, demonstrating their unwavering loyalty. The dangerous nature of their work demanded intense dedication and came with personal sacrifices. Many of these women faced harsh societal criticism, abandonment by husbands, and rejection by their families. The demanding role also left little room for personal lives or families. The Revolutionary Nuns' presence often made international headlines, adding to Gaddafi's mystique. Their role in his security became a spectacle on the world stage. In 2006, Gaddafi and 200 heavily armed guards arrived at Abuja International Airport in Nigeria. Tensions quickly escalated when Nigerian authorities denied them entry with their weapons. Gaddafi, furious at the decision, threatened to walk to the capital, nearly causing a diplomatic crisis. The situation was eventually resolved after Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo intervened. Another notable event occurred during Gaddafi's 2007 visit to Paris. Gaddafi set up a luxury Bedouin-style tent near the Élysée presidential palace, a move that garnered widespread attention. Though he didn't sleep in the tent, it was heavily guarded by his female bodyguards, showcasing their essential role in protecting him and highlighting the unique symbolism they represented. In 2009, Gaddafi's visit to Italy created similar headlines. He arrived with an entourage of 300 guards and set up a massive Bedouin-style tent in Rome's Central Park. This unusual display drew international curiosity and solidified the Revolutionary Nuns' image as a central part of Gaddafi's carefully orchestrated public appearances. Gaddafi's female bodyguards also became famous for their dramatic actions. One of the most memorable moments occurred during a speech in Italy when a man in the crowd attempted to attack Gaddafi. Two of his bodyguards immediately jumped in front of him, using their bodies as shields to protect their leader. This act of loyalty and courage further elevated their international recognition, drawing both fascination and scrutiny from the global media. One of the most striking aspects of Gaddafi's female bodyguards was their appearance. Their uniforms were unlike what one might expect for bodyguards. At times, they wore standard military-style uniforms, complete with camouflage pants and jackets, blending in like regular soldiers. On special occasions, however, their outfits were far more elaborate. They wore bright colors like red or green, with gold buttons on their jackets. Their makeup was often carefully applied, and their hair was styled, setting them apart from male bodyguards who typically avoided standing out. This duality of strength and femininity was intentional. Gaddafi wanted his female bodyguards to project an image of power and beauty, embodying his belief that women could be both. Their presence was also a reflection of his broader stance on women's rights in Libya. Having female bodyguards was Gaddafi's way of showcasing these reforms, proving that women could handle even the most demanding and high-profile roles. Comparing Gaddafi's female bodyguards to women in similar roles around the world further underscores their uniqueness. While countries like Israel and the United States have integrated women into combat and military roles, it remains rare in many parts of the Middle East. This is why Gaddafi's bodyguards stood out so much. They broke barriers in a region where women were often excluded from such positions. Their story highlights how ideas about gender and work vary across cultures and contexts. What happened to those females during and after the collapse of Gaddafi's reign? The loyalty of Revolutionary Guards remained unwavering even during Libya's tumultuous final chapter under Gaddafi. In 2011, as protests against his regime escalated into a full-scale civil war, the female bodyguards continued to stand by him, protecting him despite the growing dangers. When Gaddafi was captured and killed by rebel forces in October 2011, it marked the end of not just his rule, but also the elite group of female bodyguards. The aftermath of Gaddafi's death remains shrouded in mystery for his guards. Some accounts suggest they fought to protect him until the very end, while others claim they fled or switched sides. Today, the once iconic unit no longer exists, and the special military academy for women that trained them has been permanently closed. Gaddafi's female bodyguards left behind a legacy that continues to fascinate and divide opinions. They symbolized both empowerment and the contradictions of a regime that blended progressivism with authoritarian control. On one hand, these women proved that females could excel in roles traditionally reserved for men. They demonstrated strength, bravery, and skill, challenging perceptions about women's abilities in Libyan society. Their presence inspired young girls to dream of joining the military or pursuing careers previously considered out of reach. Wait, what if there are dark stories behind Gaddafi's female bodyguards that the world didn't know about? Behind the good image, there may be a harsh reality. The story of Amazonian guards carried a much darker side. Critics argue that Gaddafi used the female bodyguards, known as the Revolutionary Nuns, as a tool to enhance his image rather than genuinely empowering women. While publicly promoting gender equality, Gaddafi's authoritarian regime often undermined those ideals, exposing contradictions in his policies. Despite their visible role as symbols of empowerment, troubling accounts later emerged about the guards. In 2001, Libyan psychologist Dr. Seham Sergewa investigated the recruitment process. Fear of punishment kept most women silent, but 8 brave individuals came forward, revealing disturbing details about their experiences. Following Gaddafi's death in 2011, even more women shared allegations of abuse. Many claimed they were coerced into joining the unit through blackmail or forced into providing sexual favors to Gaddafi and members of his inner circle. These revelations painted a grim picture of the Revolutionary Nuns' reality. Far from being a testament to women's empowerment, their experiences exposed exploitation and abuse, further undermining the notion that Gaddafi was a champion of women's rights. The bodyguards' prominence sparked debates about women's roles in Libyan society. For some, they represented progress and a new vision of gender equality. For others, they were a challenge to deeply rooted cultural values, provoking resistance and criticism. These debates remain relevant in Libya today, where the struggle for women's rights continues long after Gaddafi's fall. What lessons can we learn from Gaddafi's bodyguards? The story of Gaddafi's female bodyguards teaches significant lessons. Societal change is never simple, even with support from powerful leadership. The female bodyguards became a powerful symbol of women's potential, but their reality was often far more complex. Their legacy also highlights how progress for women's rights can be fragile. After Gaddafi's death, many of the advancements made under his rule were reversed. Ultimately, the female bodyguards serve as a reminder that women are capable of excelling in any role, even those traditionally dominated by men. Their presence proved that women could be as strong, courageous, and capable as their male counterparts, leaving behind a story that continues to inspire and provoke reflection on gender equality. Thanks for watching. I wish you better life, foods, and money.